Join me working for a large investment bank in London. First, my alarm goes off at 6 AM and I quickly jump out of bed, have a shower and then feed the dogs.
Go on then.
Following this, it's a quick change and make my way to Milton Keynes train station. I then jump on the train from Milton Keynes to London Euston. Once in London Euston, I make my way across the London Underground via the Northern Line and then via the Elizabeth Line to Canary Wharf. As you can see, the trains are always quite busy. Once in Canary Wharf, it's a small walk to work, including these escalators where I get my steps in. I'll fast forward this though. As you can see, this is the view from my desk today. Now, at this point of the video, I wanted to interrupt the day in the life footage to talk about my role and my day to day. Now, I can't talk too much about my role because we're prohibited from talking about it on social media. However, what I can say is that I'm senior vice president level working in procurement. This is just below director. This is a strategic role that means I manage hundreds of millions of pounds of the bank's external spend. Now, this isn't what you class as a front office role. However, I do have significant exposure to very senior leadership across the bank, including within the front office, middle office and back office, and I also have exposure to group board -1. This includes all of the different areas of the bank. The key focus of the role is to ensure that we have the correct external partners to fulfill the needs and demands of the bank, to drive the best commercial deals to the bank and to drive innovation whilst also mitigating any risk associated with our external supply base. As part of this, I'm currently leading and negotiating a deal worth over £1 billion and have a team of 14 people underneath me. I'll talk more about my career advice at the end, but it's a great specialism that not many people are aware of. But equally, it pays very well and is very exciting. Now, I want to talk about what my day actually looked like in this video that you're watching today. I had multiple face-to-face meetings with both suppliers and stakeholders, and I also went for lunch at a burger bar with one of my internal stakeholders. The key focus of the day, other than my business as usual items, was crafting and agreeing the strategy, the commercial targets, and the negotiation design of that very large, over £1 billion deal that I'm leading. Followed by meeting my ex-colleagues for Thirsty Thursday, as one of my very close friends that I used to work with has just secured a job as a managing director at another bank. Now you've heard about my day, let's move to the exciting part, Thirsty Thursday. As you can see, it's quite busy and it's only 5 o'clock here. We had quite a few drinks, as you can see. Probably too many if I'm being completely honest, but hey ho. And then after that, I made my way back to Euston Station. The trains are a lot quieter this time of night. This guy's got cool hair, hasn't he? As you can see, it's now 9:51 and I'm on my train back to Milton Keynes, along with many other people. Following this is a quick taxi ride home. Now we've finished the day in life video, I wanted to give you some career advice, as I get lots of questions from people and I've therefore tried to address the biggest ones for you in this video. So the first question that I'm often asked is, what is it like working for an investment bank? So for me, I love it. I find it really exciting and you have really good exposure to lots of different areas and lots of different things that are going on. In particular, I really like finance and I like economics. And although I'm not in the front office role, I do have a lot of exposure to what's going on both geopolitically but also economically around the world, which is really fun. If you're in a front office role, this can be great fun, but it can also be extremely demanding on your time. So investment bankers often work very long hours, especially in your front office. If you're middle office, it's not so bad, and likewise if you're in a back office role. Front office is where all of the money is and most of the prestige. This is the people that could be earning millions of pounds, especially when they get to the more senior levels. However, middle office and back office, you can still earn very good sums, but not quite as high as if you're in the front office. Number two, can you still get into an investment bank with bad grades? So again, this one does depend where you want to work. So if you want to work in a front office role, especially if you're going in as a graduate, Quite often you have to go to the best possible universities you can and often have the best possible grades, or at least know someone in the industry or the bank that could help get your referral. If you do have bad grades, I wouldn't rule it out. There are other things that you can do. So you can try networking to try and get up there. You can also do additional qualifications such as the CFA and so forth. If your grades aren't good enough for a front office and you keep getting rejected despite the networking and doing the additional studies such as the CFA, you could look at a middle or back office role. As I say, these are equally very exciting and you do still get a lot of exposure to the bank's clients, senior leadership and so forth. So third, what I'm quite often asked is what should I study if I want to work for an investment bank? So here I would say that the quantitative subjects are the most desirable for working in an investment bank, especially if you're in a front office. If you're in the middle or back office, a more specialised degree could also be relevant. When people ask me, I quite often say that economics and finance are probably your preferred degrees for front office roles. However, anything scientific, so engineering, mathematics, etc., are also quite highly desirable, especially if you're in that front office role. As you can imagine, front office does require a lot of data analytics and therefore you have to be good at maths and economics. In addition to this, you could also look at what the companies are saying or their career advisors to try and give you some understanding in terms of what skills and degrees they're looking for. Especially at the moment, things such as AI, data analytics, etc. could also be extremely desirable for some companies. So the next question I often get asked, can working for an investment bank be long hours and cutthroat? And the honest answer is, especially with the long hours, yes, it can be, depending on where you work. If you're in a front office role, in particular in M&A, when you've got a live deal, that can be really long hours. I'm talking 60 to 100 hours per week. And that the expectation is that you're always available within that to ensure that you're meeting your client's needs. Very similar to when I was a consultant at BCG, working 60 to 80 hour weeks. When it comes to the more middle and back office roles, they can be a lot better. So for example, I have colleagues working in procurement that do 35-hour weeks and that is it. Likewise in middle office roles as well. Personally, I work a lot more. I'm doing between 50 and 60-hour weeks because I'm really trying to push ahead in my career. When it comes to the cutthroat aspect, this entirely depends on the culture of that company. Some firms are known for having a very cutthroat environment where they get rid of the bottom percentage of their staff per year. Others are seen as being more lenient and then aren't as cutthroat. So the next question I often get asked is how can you get a job at an investment bank if you didn't go to a target school? So with this one, I'm not going to lie, it can be harder. However, probably networking and speaking to career advisors at the specific companies that you're looking for can particularly help you. When it comes to networking, you can reach out to alumni from your university, your school, etc. that are working at those firms to ask for a referral. Or likewise, you could look for other alumni or people working in that company via LinkedIn, reaching out and asking for a coffee chat to ask for their advice and guidance. You never know, someone might actually refer you, which will really help you get a foot in the door. The next question I often get asked is, does going to a top university matter? And the honest answer is yes. The better the university, the more prestige university you have, especially those that do on-campus recruiting, will put you in better stead, especially when you're looking for a front office role. However, with this said, it's not the be all and end all. You can do other things such as additional qualifications, the CFA, networking, trying to get work experience, etc. to try and help you. The next question I often get asked is what opportunities are there for you? And this one is a very broad question. The honest answer is it depends. There could be lots for you depending on what you want to do. If you're interested in IT, data science, procurement, finance, legal, marketing, etc., there are all of these opportunities within an investment bank. And there are many routes to get into that. You can either go straight as a graduate onto a graduate scheme, or likewise, you can be an experienced hire, even coming from different industries into those roles. The next question I get is what types of roles are there? And the honest answer is there's loads. There's, as I just mentioned previously, there's IT roles, there's HR roles, there's legal roles, procurement roles, finance, marketing, operations, etc. You name it, there are so many roles. And this includes both front office, middle office, and back office roles. The next question I often get asked is how is AI disrupting the industry? Now, to be honest, AI is starting to disrupt the industry. And although it's a bit early, there are significant use cases and companies are starting to reduce their hiring as a result of what AI can do. In particular, anything that's manual and not that value adding, where you don't need specialist expertise, to drive this forward is already being replaced by AI. So for example, preparing research reports, company analysis, etc. That is something where AI is already massively growing. You're also seeing AI replacing manual back office roles, for example, processing deals and transactions. I think as we go forward, AI will continue to develop and it will disrupt roles. However, there will always be a demand for a really specialist niche skill set. So if you're an expert and you understand something really well, there will always be a need for you. So my advice is try and specialize in something that AI can't replace. With that said, a lot of client-facing roles, people relationship roles, etc., AI will struggle to do that there as well. So these could be quite good things for you. Now, if you have enjoyed this video and you want to see another day in a life video plus my guide to investment banking, including salaries, watch this video here.